Shaun, how's training been this week ahead of the Sutton game?
Yeah, no, it's been good. We've had another positive week, good session this morning. People back in contention, no fresh injuries, so that's really pleasing.
You've touched there on people back in contention. Can you share one or two who are?
Harry Clifton's back training, so Evan Corey's had a full week. Misha Fetty's joined back in, but won't be available at the weekend, and he's not joined back in full training. He's just started a little bit, so that's a positive sign. Seems to have come through okay. Just waiting this morning, see if there's any reaction from this morning. So off the top of my head, I think that just leaves Charles Werner left on his own at the minute, which is obviously not good for him, but good for the group that more people are getting back.
So it sounds like the squad's in good nick. I just want to touch on Callum Ainley. I think it was sort of suggested that he didn't come on last weekend because of the heavy pitch. Is that right?
Yeah, I think his calves were a bit tight as in terms of when he went out to warm up, and just wasn't a risk worth taking with him personally, you know. Where he's been, the last thing we wanted to do was put him on for the sake of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever that may be, to then lose him again for 4 or 5 weeks, you know. So it was obviously part of our thought process that he potentially would have come on, but turned out he couldn't. But he's trained this week and he's okay, so that's good.
One of the plaudits that's been given to you and Ben in your interim period in charge, how your substitutes have had a real impact on the games. I'm going to speak briefly about one here, Donovan Wilson. It was pretty instant impact. He must be giving you a tough decision to make in terms of whether he starts or continues on the bench.
Yeah, no, definitely. The attacking players as a whole have performed really well. I think, just my opinion on it is in terms of he's getting a balance across that front line. So potentially he could play. So we have played, I think we've played all different combinations at different points. But for example, Slough away the first game, we wanted to get 3 so-called strikers on the pitch. So Rakeel, Donovan and Danny Rose. Is that the right balance all the time to have them 3 on the pitch? In my opinion, probably not, but there is occasions for it. So it's been a really enjoyable challenge how we can get the best out of the front players and how we can score more goals. And I think we've not only have we scored more goals, the amount of chances we've created, I think has been the real pleasing point. And obviously then taking them is obviously the added bonus. But if we continue to create the chances we have done, I think regardless whether players start or not, I think the one positive thing for them is, like, when they come on, they know potentially they're going to get opportunities to score. So yeah, there'll be different times, different moments for different people, but we've been pleased across that front line as a whole, really. So yeah, that's been pleasing.
And this week you've had a bit of a trip away from Cheapside. On one of your days off, you went over to Manchester United, didn't you?
Yes, me and Ben got invited, and it was an amazing day. Initially we got invited to go watch training and have a little chat with Steve McLaren, and we thought maybe we stood at the side out the way. We was actually, you know, with Steve, we sat over dinner for 2 hours and sort of could pick his brains. We then we watched training literally from the side of the pitch, so that was obviously fantastic. We spent time with the analysts, the sports science team, and it was really amazing how open they were with us, to be honest with you. That was a real pleasing thing and a fantastic learning experience, and something really appreciative of.
And that can only be a positive for you and Ben on your journey as coaches, can't it?
100%. Ultimately, you know, people think, oh, you go up Man United, you might try and change and copy what they do. It's never about copying what somebody else does. I think as a coach, you have your philosophy, your beliefs, whatever you want to implement. And when you go somewhere like that, it's sometimes you're learning maybe how you can deliver what you're delivering better, or you might pick up a couple of little bits, little tweaks. It's all about developing all the time. And that it was a massive insight to the resource they have available to then go to be able to go to the depths they can, as in terms of how they prepare, how they recover, how they review, everything they do. And a lot of it, what was interesting was it's not too dissimilar as in terms of what we're trying to do. A lot of it is we're trying to do the same sort of things. It's just they obviously have a different level of depth they can go to with the resource, the money, the manpower, all that available to them.
Just looking ahead towards this weekend's game, the wind we had at Gloucestershire last weekend seems to have graced us today. Very windy training session. What sort of challenge are you expecting though from Sutton on Saturday?
Yeah, I think Sutton, I would imagine be 4-4-2. I'd be surprised if any different. Played that way for the last, played against them when they were in the National League, got promoted out of the National League, and a very well organised, well drilled outfit. Got threats, obviously. Harry Smith, big target at the top end of the pitch. but got some good players. Aside from that, everybody has them down as a direct team, and they definitely are direct at times. But actually, once the ball does come down in that mid third, they have some good play. Some the wingers come in a little bit. Sometimes the fullbacks join in. So it's not just all one dimensional as maybe what it'll seem at times. So we have to deal with that. And then same as every other game for us is how can we implement our game onto them and try and hurt them. That's ultimately always the plan. How can we contain, and then how can we get on top of the game and try and find ways to hurt them, which we have done in the 4 games so far. So hopefully that'll be the same for us on Saturday, and we can find more opportunities ourselves than we let the opposition have, and give ourselves the best opportunity to get a result with a good performance.
You'll be looking for your 3rd consecutive home win in all competitions. You're looking for a 5th match unbeaten. How confident are you, and how confident are the group going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think definitely the confidence levels have definitely improved. I think even last week at Forest Green, the first half, I've watched it back twice now. The first half we start really well, could easily go in front. Rakil obviously blocks, I think it's Harvey Rogers, his shot on the line, nothing he can do about it. We have some good play, and then a couple of individual errors really, which then lead to us being 2 goals down. The really pleasing thing was that the second half we spoke about bits how we can improve, and just touching on individual errors. For example, Greeny's one, that is what we've asked him to do. We want him to get the ball out to the opposite fullback. So that's sometimes your execution, you get caught. That doesn't mean that can't be better, but that's on us as well. And I wouldn't change that as in terms of what I'm asking him to do. It's just how can we get that to be done better. That's ultimately the thing for me. So, but then going to the second half, we were complete control for 40 minutes. I think they had 1 shot on our goal in that 40 minutes in the second half. We obviously had a few opportunities and managed to get back level, and then the challenge for us is not to get nervous, and I was probably as guilty as anybody from the side, not to get nervous once we get back to 2-2, because we obviously nearly throw it away, and just have a bit more control and still search for a winner, at the same time being a little bit more secure behind. Looking at Sutton this weekend, I think we take confidence from that, and then like I keep saying, we just try to get the best performance level, which gives us the best opportunity to win. And touching on Sutton, their form has improved dramatically. They're 4 unbeaten themselves before Tuesday night. And if you look at take Tuesday night out of the equation, away at Charlton, obviously a difficult place to go at any time. The last 6, I think they'd lost 2. I think 1 at Wrexham in the last minute, 1 at Morecambe in the last minute, and then 1-2 and drawn 2. So no different to us, definitely in a better place than they maybe were a few weeks ago, but obviously both teams down the bottom end still and looking to obviously pull away from there.